Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hyrule Chronicles, Legend of Zelda D&D campaign, episode number 68. My name is Articulate T, I am the Game Master, and with me as always I have Renji Vox being played by the Nether Lad.
We're going on an adventure! Again!
I have Hikan Sio being played by Avrdal.
Hello.
I have Zayden Shari being played by Robot Pirate.
We're gonna sail.
And I have Max being played by Keestrith.
Yay, hello.
So, what happened last time?
Last time we watched a new king get crowned. Well, most of us did. Hikan fell asleep. Because it was a very boring ceremony according to the DM. So, but yeah, so we watched that, and then we had some character moments where Hikan tried to figure out if Lady Risha was okay, which we know that she isn't for a couple of reasons, and he rolled really good insight on Renji, and we had a meeting with Nihilus and the king, where we decided that, and by we decided, we mean we were voluntold that we're going to go to an island to investigate the Sovereign Hand instead of following on Cassandra and Delilah over to the west, or helping Nihilus directly by possibly going to the east or the south. Instead, we're going back up north towards Sarkosa. With that, we also, Zayden, volunteered to scry on Sophia in order to discern her location, given that she had two possible locations. And after we got the plan and figured out that we're going to take our charges for our discount over to Audemars and then hang north to go up to Sarkosa through there, we decided to have a moment where Hikan borrowed the kitchens of the Royal Hylian Inn to make Risha some very hearty stew. While he was delivering that, it was morning, and everyone else ended up going back to our house in the middle of the street, and Zayden did his scrying spell and saw a very action-packed scene with the Wizrobe and Sophia. After describing that and giving Nihilus a heading, Renji and Nihilus had a moment where Renji expressed some of his grievances to his father before his father departed, and Max wisely gave Nihilus the advice to not hesitate if the option came to end Torquin. And I believe that was about everything.
Indeed. So, armed with this knowledge, you have found yourselves more or less doing whatever final preparations you needed to before you left town, making your way northwards, or northwestwards, towards Sarkosa. Nihilus will be coming back at some point within the very near future, because he has to drop off a set of sending stones as agreed upon by in the previous day, just to maintain communications between the two groups as things go on.
Can I attempt to rush to the library for a short moment?
Sure.
I want to set something in motion. Specifically, I want the librarians to figure out how in the hell the Book of Twilight was in the library.
Okay.
How did that get there?
So, you're making your way to do that. Anybody else have anything they need to do before journeys begin?
I would like to go to Sebastian's normal general store, .. honest guys, and I'd like to buy, if he has any some healing potions, and if Mara has met up with us, things for cooking for travel. So probably things like breads or things that'll keep, maybe just some raw ingredients, different spices other than the old spices that we have.
Okay. Max and Zayden, do you have anything you would like to be doing?
Nihilus already gone?
Yes.
Then I do not.
Okay. Max?
No.
Okay.
Argument.
Okay. So we will start with Renji. You make your way hurriedly back up to Hyrule Castle, heading through the halls and finding your way towards the library. Inside, you find a few of the scribes and scholars in there, going about their business as normal. Just kind of, they don't even seem to look towards you as you enter. They're just too busy with the stuff that they're doing.
Basically, I want to go in there and ask the nearest scribe,
Mhm.
who is head librarian whilst Mara is away.
The scribe, this kind of thin-faced looking middle-aged man, looks to you and says, right. Well, it's a good question. And he kind of looks about and says, usually it should be Bertold, but he usually busies himself with some of the older collections at the back. You may wish to find him there.
Thank you. That's quite helpful. And I head over there.
Okay. You make your way in that direction. You find an older gentleman who seems like has kind of a long but well manicured graying beard. Seems to be dressed in kind of basic red and gold robes as he looks over some of the older scrolls and more fraying books that are located towards the back of the library. As he sees you approach, he looks up and says, "Oh, hello. How can I help you?"
Well, I have a question of rather delicate nature, and I look around to see if there's any other scribes around.
You do not see any other scribes around.
I take out the book of Twilight Lore that I found, probably like in a hidden alcove just beyond where we are right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I say, this book was in your collections.
Oh. And he looks over it. And he can't make head nor tail of it because you can see quite clearly that he can't understand the script. And he says, "What is it?"
It's a book on dealing with creatures from the Twilight Realm.
The Twilight Realm, you see.
Yes.
And he kind of thinks on that for a moment. It takes him a while to more or less recognize what you're talking about. So, oh, well, that's a bit unfortunate.
Yes, quite. I'm very curious to know how it got into this library, how it got here.
Well, normally we have some kind of record of books that come in and go. It's going to take a while to check that, though, depending on how long it's been there for.
I motion for him to follow, and I bring him to the kind of cubbyhole that it was in when I found it.
Yeah.
And I say, I found it here, pointing to the exact spot. And I say, this is where I found it. I am not able to hand it over for you to study it. I just want to know where it is from.
Well, he kind of like he kind of like looks at the spot and looks at you, looks at the spot, looks at you, looks at the book, and then kind of gives you a look of like, so what you're saying is you stole a book from us. But he kind of just says, well, like I said, checking the records and where it comes from and how long we've had it in the library is going to take us a while.
That's quite all right. We have means of keeping in touch whilst we are traveling. If you find anything, please let the other court Shika know that I would prefer to have that knowledge as soon as possible. And to the idea of like, I know you've stolen a book, my like look is just, you can't prove anything, and they won't care.
Rude.
You're like, right. Well, we'll do what we can. I said this library's centuries old, so it's going to be
Indeed.
checking a lot of bad books. So we'll just we'll try and do our best to see what we can find.
Thank you. I appreciate your cooperation in this.
Not at all. Not at all. Is there anything else that you'd be needing of us at all?
No, not at this moment. Thank you.
Right. Okay. And he just kind of like, without even so much as a goodbye, he just wanders away.
Just how I like it. I would also like to head over to the armory, see Lissa and Manny, and just say hi and see if they've got anything else before just heading back to the house.
Yeah. They're okay. Like they haven't, like, besides the commotion that had occurred previously, they haven't really been doing much different from what they usually do, which is creating and maintaining more gear for the Royal Guard and all that kind of stuff. They unfortunately do not have anything new for you to use. They seem to just have
It wasn't too big.
Yeah.
Wasn't expected, but still.
But otherwise, they're in fine spirits. They're arguing amongst themselves as they usually do. But otherwise, yeah, they're doing okay.
Good. I'm glad to see them, and I just mentioned that the mithril half-plate has served me well.
Yeah, Lissa just kind of like gives you a look up and down, and then kind of nods and says, "Well, if there's one thing that I know for certain, it is how to make good armor, regardless of what metal you use.
Indeed.
If you find anything else interesting, do not hesitate to bring it back to us. It was quite an interesting experience forging with mithril. We've never even gotten mithril, despite the station that we have ourselves."
Well, I'm glad to have given you the opportunity, and I mean, I have some trade silver, but beyond that, not much else in the department of materials. Oh wait, no, I traded that silver. Never mind.
I was going to say, trade bars of silver and silver ingots are two largely different things, but
Yes.
perhaps somewhere down the line, if you do find yourselves in possession of silver, we can silver a weapon for you. Though I'd be curious as to why you would need a silvered weapon. Not fighting anything untoward, are you?
No, and maybe this'll do the trick anyway. And I pull out the hilt of the Sunblade and.
Oh, now that is impressive. I'm not sure we could silver pure sunlight, though, but
Honestly, I would like to see you try.
it might take
But-
a while.
Yes. No worries. This is something that either Uriel found or cooked up himself.
Ah, that certainly explains it then.
Anyway, thank you for again all the help you've been in the past. We are actually heading out on another trip. Probably going to take I don't know, maybe a little bit longer than the last one.
Okay. Well, I wish you the best of luck for that, of course.
Thank you, and don't let the Sheikah here work you too hard, don't you?
The Sheikah here rarely asks for anything, my dear. It's just, it's mostly the demands of the regular guards, I fear. But then again, it's not exactly too difficult. Anyway, I won't keep you much longer. You have fun on your trip, and hopefully I will see you again soon.
Likewise. See you later.
And Lissa gets back
And
to
scene.
And scene. Yeah, so with that sorted, you make your way back to the house. Meanwhile, Hikan, you find yourself moving down the familiar streets of...
I get about 3 houses away, and then I run back to the house. Maxwell,
What?
would
Yes?
you get... I was wondering if you guys would think that it'd be a good idea, or Max, if it would be a good idea to introduce Maxwell to Sebastian before we go, since Sebastian's got a bunch of stuff in case Maxwell needs anything.
Fine.
Okay, Maxwell, you want to come?
Sure, if it's a good idea. And Maxwell tromps downstairs.
Max is like right behind him.
And then I turn back around and start heading back to Sebastian's.
Yeah. So the three of you make your way through the streets, leaving the residential district, quickly entering the commercial district, and moving down the main road, at the bottom of which you can see Sebastian's normal general store, ... honest guys. The extended sign still hanging over the front door, a wonder that it still remains perched above it. Inside you can see that the shop is certainly well stocked. There's still a multitude of things in every direction, and behind, as reliable as ever, is your friendly Hylian Sebastian, who looks over and with a big smile says, "Oh, hello!
Hi again, Sebastian.
Hello, how
I
are you
think you remember-
doing?"
Doing pretty good. We're getting ready to go on another trip. I think you remember Max, and then
Yeah.
And this is Max's brother, I think. Maxwell. Maxwell's going to be staying in Castletown for a while, so I figured I'd bring him by and introduce him in case he needs anything while we're gone.
Yeah. Sebastian kind of nods to Max and then excitedly waves to Maxwell, whose response is like, what?
Just say hello.
Hello. Hello, it's nice to meet you. Don't worry, we'll take good care of you. And Sebastian turns back to you, Hikan, and says, "So, you said that you've been needing some supplies, yes?"
Yeah. I'm going to look around at the foodstuffs you have here. I know you keep the healing potions in the bag, and I wanted some of those too.
Oh, no problem. I'll be right back. And he totters off. And like as soon as he's out of earshot and out of sight, Maxwell turns to her and says, "What? What?"
He's just a regular Hylian guy doing his best to make a living. Hikan winks really heavily.
He rolls high enough to get the subtle hint.
Very subtle.
Yeah. And he's like, "Okay. Right. All right. Okay. And then, like, as he's still kind of like has a look of confusion on his face, is looking around at the various things on the walls, all the different general supplies, food, tools, all that kind of stuff, everything you could possibly need at a reasonable price. And then, as for foodstuffs, there are plenty of foodstuffs. Not like the full grocer experience that you might get, but there's certainly some very basic things. There's your breads, your cheeses, some meats, most of them preserved, and you have also, actually, this is a good point. This is a good thing. I'll keep it in hand because I can use my Hero's Feast book finally to have accurate descriptions of food, just in case.
Excellent.
Yeah. But yes, so, and of course, as per the last time that you saw Sebastian, there's a crate or two stacked with some of his lovely pastries that he makes on the occasion. And as he comes back, he seems to be carrying another crate, this time filled with healing potions, as described before. And he says, "Okay, so the healing potions, they are 50 gold pieces for each bottle. How many would you like?" The crate seems to contain 16 at the moment.
Okay. 800. Okay. I will take 8. I'll take half of them.
Okay. And he kind of like plucks 8 out at a time and lines them up neatly on the counter before he takes the crate and puts it to one side as he turns back to you and says, "So that'll be 800 gold pieces to begin. Is there anything else you would like?"
If there are 50 at 8, it should be 400.
Ah, yes, so there is. I can math. It's fine. There's a 400 to begin.
Okay, so Hikan portions out half of his gold, and then he takes a look at some of the stuff that looks for more raw-ish ingredients, like some of the preserved meats, the cheeses, the bread, probably if there's anything in regards to... I know it's not a full grocer's, but stuff like butter, things like that, because he's going to probably make a bunch of sandwiches. He'll see if he can get some fruit stuff for like to toss in on things. Just general stuff, but things that you can throw together for more stuff, nuts for granola.
Yeah. So let's see. So with the kind of hardtack rations and stuff, those will run you roughly. So a day's worth of ration is 5 silver pieces. For a loaf of bread, it's 2 copper pieces. A hunk of cheese is 1 silver piece. And about, let's say, kind of half a pound of preserved meats. That's going to be 3 silver pieces. And the pastries themselves, each pastry is a silver piece.
So that would be 10 silver piece for 1 of everything plus 2 copper. So that would be 100. I'm mathing. This is going to take me a bit.
That's okay. That's all right. As you math, Sebastian turns to Max, and Max one says, "Is there anything that you would like?"
I'm just here to carry things.
Okay. Turns to Maxwell, and Maxwell just kind of nods his head to the side to indicate that he is also here to carry things, and Sebastian just kind of nods enthusiastically and then turns his attention back to Hikan.
Okay, so since there's 5 of us going, and for 10 days worth of stuff for all of it, it should come out to 60 gold total.
Okay.
Which Hikan will then count 60 gold out and then pass it to Sebastian for 10 days worth of everything for everybody. So that's all 5 of us.
Yeah. So he gladly takes it. He doesn't count it in front of you. In fact, he doesn't count it at all. He just trusts that you have given him the right amount of money, and puts it to one side. Says, "Would the? Ooh, oh no, we've lost Craig. Just realised that.
He just dropped.
He
So.
literally just dropped.
For our listeners, Craig is our recording bot. Recording dummy? I don't know.
Oh, if you want me to start recording. Oh, okay. Let's see if I can get him to join again. Craig, join.
Now recording.
There we go.
There we go.
Back. Awesome. All right. That's okay. We'll find a way. But yeah. So yeah, he gladly takes the money. He then kind of looks to you and says, "So, is anything else you would like? Anything you'd like to purchase or?"
I think that was about it that I wanted to get. But
Okay.
if there's anything that we need for that, I think that'll be okay for now.
Okay.
Just wanted to get some stuff for a trip and to introduce you to Maxwell.
Okay. Well, thank you for so much for coming and buying my things, and thank you. It's nice to meet you, Maxwell. And he kind of bows his head a bit, and Maxwell's like, "Yeah, hi, nice to meet you too." And Sebastian then heartily bids you farewell as you pick up your things and make your way back to the house.
Thank you for coming, and I will give Maxwell and Max one of the pastries.
The pastries are very nice. They are. They kind of have this sort of sweetness to them that can only. And there's definitely a hint of cranberry that you can taste in there. But yeah, it's they're very sweet and pleasant.
Hey.
Okay, so you make your way back to the house. Renji makes his way back to the house. Is there anything else you wanted to do while you more than likely waited for Nihilus to come back with those sending stones?
That was all I wanted to do.
Okay.
Yeah, no other plans right now.
Okay, so with everything sorted out and ready to go, you make your way to... Oh, no, you don't make your way anyway. You wait patiently at the house, and before long, Nihilus returns. He presents all of you with a set, 3 sending stones. He kind of just... and he holds up one that he has in his hand, like a 4th one he has in his hand. He says, "Now, unfortunately, I could not get any kind of networked sending stones, so I've given you a pair to communicate with yourselves, and I've given you one that you allowed to communicate with me. This should help for matters."
Definitely. And is there a way of us communicating with the castle this way?
Unfortunately not. This was the last supply that Uriel had. It would take a further few days in order for him to get any more.
Oh, darn it. I was hoping to get some information from the library. Anyway,
I'm sure
these will be helpful.
when you're done with your investigation of the island, I'm sure that he may be restocked by that point, and then things can be worked out in order for you to have a further method of communication with the castle.
Indeed.
Well, that is all. I have business to attend to. Good luck in your journeys.
You too. Be safe.
Yes, you too.
And he turns and briskly walks back down the street in order to get to where he's going. Now equipped.
May I do a small stealth check for everyone else?
Sure.
That is a 26. Probably no one sees me punching the wall.
Oh. Okay. Yeah. If anybody wanted to, let's see. Passive perceptions. If they're not actively looking out for a companion of theirs punching walls, then yeah, that exceeds everybody's passive.
The question now is whether or not we'd be willing to not keep our eyes on Renji.
I'm not that pretty.
But yes. So you have your sending stones. You have one that allows you to communicate with Nihilus, and you have another two that you can distribute between two of you in order to talk over longer distances. What do you plan on doing next?
I think we should go to Lord Farnsworth's estate, figure out where those people is.
Okay. Very well. If that is the case, you leave your home. You bid Maxwell farewell. And you, by that point, I would say Mara has also returned in order to join up with you guys. You make your way through the noble district and on the way to Lord Farnsworth's estate, which, much like all the other noble estates, seems to be kind of a cookie cutter, similar layout to all the other buildings. As you kind of approach, you see the two guards stand to attention, and one of them holds up a hand and says, "Hold on, state your business."
Hi, we're the Storm's Eye, and we talked with somebody yesterday about escorting some people towards Automark.
Ah, yes. Give me 2 moments. And the guard disappears inside the building. And after a few moments, comes back out and says, I've been asked to have you wait by the western gate. The workers shall be on their way with a cart as appropriate.
Okay. And then as Hikan turns to start heading that way, he tries to flash a thumbs up to Renji and the rest of them, that's how I'm supposed to do it, right?
Oh dear. But yes. So, leaving Lord Farnsworth's estate, you make your way back towards the western residential gate. It's still mid-morning-ish through the whole process that you've been doing all this stuff. And when you arrive, you wait around for about an hour or so before you see a cart pulled by 2 horses with 2 guards and a few people dressed in kind of practical clothes wander over, and they stop before you. One of the workers steps forward and says, "Hi, are you the escort duty?"
That's us.
Aye, okay. Right, we'll be heading to Artemark then. There's not many roads on the way to Artemark, so it might take a while. Oh, you know? Oh, okay.
We've been.
You've been. Ah, I see. That
Also,
makes
Renji is a little bit more grumpy than usual for no apparent reason.
Yeah. couldn't possibly think why.
I give Renji a pastry.
I take the pastry and eat it.
Good. Take this. I'm not going to try my best not to enjoy it. Damn it.
Just all according to Keikaku.
But yeah, he kind of says, all right, well, no use wasting sunlight. Let's make our way along. And unless you guys have anything else you need to grab, they will begin making their way from Hyrule Castle Town and along Hyrule proper.
All right.
Okay. Thankfully, it is a fairly peaceful day. The sun is shining. There's rarely a cloud in the sky. There's a pleasantly cool breeze that prevents it from getting too warm. As you journey along along a short road which suddenly disappears somewhere some miles after Hyrule Castle Town, and it just leaves you in the midst of the middle of nature, of the rolling plains of Hyrule Field. The workers make small talk among themselves as they journey onward, some kind of anticipating what Artemark is going to be like, because they've never ventured this far away from Hyrule Castle before. Others kind of acknowledging the beauty of the countryside. The two guards in tow keep quiet and keep to themselves, but otherwise are just kind of keeping an eye in every direction as they are employed to do. And yeah, it's fairly nice and peaceful at the moment. It's a couple of hours before you get to really unfamiliar territory at the very least. If you are keeping an eye out, I would like perception checks, please.
Well, that's what I'm good for. 22.
22 from me as well.
Nice.
10.
Okay.
21.
Okay. So, having a look around, you keep an eye out for things like bandits or roving bands of bokoblins, that sort of thing. Things that you have encountered before. What you notice, like all but Max notice rather quickly, after a while, that the only thing out of the ordinary appears to be a larger population of birds that seem to be kind of flying overhead in different areas. With your higher perceptions, you notice that these birds are incredibly big. Like much larger than you would expect from local bird life.
In the sense that they are, like, medium size?
Yeah.
Zane,
Possibly a little bigger.
Do they
What
look
are those?
appropriate to the area?
Make a nature check.
Nature. No.
Oh. They seem a bit distant at this point. You're not sure exactly how far, not exactly sure what they are from how far away they are. The
think
thought
I'll
escapes you.
Just casually start ritual casting speak with animals as we go.
Okay.
I'll keep detect magic on, just in case there's anything close by that catches my eye.
Okay. Hikan, you were asking something earlier.
Oh, I was asking Zayden. Zayden, what are those? Because Zayden's the animal expert, but
Okay. Yeah. So as you're kind of wandering along. Doesn't seem any of the people that you're escorting seem to have noticed these birds either. But as you wander a little further along, you notice that some of the birds are getting slightly closer. Enough so that, Max, you can now see them. And one or two of the workers on the thing kind of point up and say, "Oh, those are big birds." And it's like, "Yeah, I've never seen anything like that before."
Might not be anything good to see them flying this way. Please stay vigilant. We are here to protect you, but yeah, it's no use being stupid.
Okay. They kind of nod slightly. The two guards nod to themselves and kind of tighten the grip on the spears that they carry. And as you get further and further along, I'm going to ask everyone to make another perception check for me, please.
Alrighty.
Okay.
A 12.
A 19.
19.
And Zayden does what Zayden does best.
Yeah, and Zayden
Look around.
Yeah, Zayden sees everything. So, one of the things that you notice quite quickly, Zayden, is that up ahead you notice that there's a lot of there's what at first look to be kind of disturbances in the soil. You notice them being a large number of carcasses, like animal carcasses to be sure, but it looks like they're these a variety of woodland life that has just been attacked and killed and then partially eaten. Just kind of like they're not all in one spot, but they're you notice around that there's a lot of them recently. And I'm gonna give you another chance on your nature check. And Max and Renji, you notice the disproportionate amount of animal game that has just kind of been eaten to the side. With a 23 nature, you kind of remember the eating habits of a certain type of bird creature that isn't necessarily an animal or a beast, but certainly behaves like one. It's you look up and you see, now that they're much closer, you see the deep blue feathers and the long red necks of what appear to be Kargaroks. And they appear to be making their way in your direction.
Well, I shall warn my allies that what these creatures are. And point out that they seem to be coming towards us to attack.
I will pull a crossbow out of apparently nowhere.
It's in your pocket, don't worry about it.
I'm gonna ready a spell for when it looks like they're gonna start diving down at us.
Mm-hmm.
Are they close to each other?
It's hard to tell. Like, they're not like massively close to each other. They appear to be a part of, like, you can look at them and say these are probably part of the same flock, but they don't like group together in kind of the same way normal bird flocks do. They seem almost somewhat independent of each other.
About how many of them are there?
Of the ones coming towards you, you count 4.
Okay. How far away are they?
They are roughly 500 feet away and getting closer.
When they're at 400 feet, I want to shoot it.
Okay. If that is the case, what we'll do is I'll move you guys over to, well, say make those flinging attacks as they get close enough to be attacked, make an attack roll, and we'll see how well they do before we move on to the battle map.
My max range is only 120 feet, so
Okay. Well, you'll be able to throw it before they get within respectable range, as it were.
I'll use my longbow at disadvantage.
So Hikan's going to get off horse and kind of try to get two of them in a line, and then when they get into 120 feet, that's when he's going to shout "Zap!" and he's going to throw the javelin of lightning.
Did that roll correctly?
I
did.
don't think it did. No.
Oh dear. Oh. That is a 13 plus 10. So 23 to hit.
Okay. 23 to hit. So that is. Are you all aiming for the same one, or in taking one each?
I'll call out. I'll take the one on the left.
I will try to throw through the one on the left to one behind it.
Okay.
Okay, I'm still waiting for him to get closer.
Okay. Let's see what that AC is. Okay, well that's a hit. Alright, so I'm just gonna make something of a note here. So it's 11 plus 11 is 22. Okay.
Oh, I should roll for damage if it hits, shouldn't I?
Yeah. I'll actually change the music to something a little less.
That is 15 points of piercing damage.
Nice. So I'll roll its dex save. Why not? That's the wrong stat sheet. That's the one I want. That one here. Let's see. Okay. Alright, so the one on the left that you hit with the crossbow and is then immediately caught within the lightning blast of the javelin is fried and just drops to the ground. The one behind it takes a grievous wound and is shocked by the javelin, but it is otherwise still aloft and still moving towards you. And that would be plus. Okay, all right. And so they continue moving towards you. You have at least 3 more in the sky as they approach. Max, you wanted to fire something off?
When they're within 60 feet.
Yeah. If that is the case, I will then move us onto the map so you can at least see them.
Okay, so they are now. Alright.
Yeah.
I'm going to cast Storm Sphere directly above our heads to make the winds all bad.
Okay.
Like 15 feet above us.
Alright.
And as the bonus action, I'm gonna shoot the nearest one with the strike for 18 lightning damage.
Nice. Okay, so I'm going to say that the nearest one is probably going to be this one at the top.
Yeah, nearest one to me.
Okay.
And the actual sphere part of the storm sphere is there just to protect the cart and the people,
Okay.
so that they can't get dive bombed.
All right. Excellent. Okay, if that is the case, then I'd like everybody to roll for me an initiative.
1 initiative?
1 initiative.
2 initiative.
So,
That's not bad.
You rolled I was going to say, you rolled a 16 first. Did you want to go first, or do you want me to go first?
You can go first.
Okay.
Okay. In this case, what I would need to do then is I need to... I forgot 2 character sheets in the process of me doing this. Let's see. Humanoids. need some guards, and I need some non-combatants. Okay, so first off, guard. And then these guys. Sweet, and then I need to do the Boyds themselves. Then I also need to do one more thing. Okay, all right. So, objects and tokens. Descending. Okay. Excellent. All right. So, as combat begins, you see Max cast his incantation, and above your heads, a roiling sphere of maelstrom just manifests, and a vicious bolt of lightning strikes out and slams into one of the cargo rocks as it flutters and kind of tries to rebalance itself in the air, still jittering from the sheer shock. Renji.
Right. I am going to be aiming towards this one, who's getting closer now. I will keep up my crossbow for now. Yeah, it's just a normal roll. That is a 24 to hit.
Okay.
And I roll 16 points of damage.
Okay. You pull back. You heft up your crossbow. You aim and fire. The bolt flies true, and it slams into the side of this cargo rock as it teeters back into the air, losing power, and falls to the ground dead.
It is then also evaporated.
Yes. It is evaporated and absorbed into the Twilight Realm. It's just kind of like it de-reses itself before it hits the floor.
Question.
Yes.
My javelin of lightning was stuck in it. Did that stay behind, or does that go to the Twilight Realm?
It stays behind.
Okay.
Like it clatters to the ground. I say clatter. It just kind of like plummets and then sticks itself into the soil beneath.
Just making sure.
Yeah, that's okay.
And with that, I move over. Let's see, how far can I go? Yeah. I move over here between Max and the guard.
Okay.
To give this side more cover.
Okay.
Can I? Like I've been watching these come closer and closer. Can I kind of gauge what their speed is?
Give me a insight check.
Insight.
Yeah.
Why insight?
Because I had to think of something.
11.
11. It's hard to judge.
In that case, I will actually drop/dismiss my crossbow and get ready to grab my sunblade.
Okay. All right. Okay, and that's your turn? Okay, sweet. All right. Sweet. Then it's the civilians goes. They're going to see if they can just find cover around the cart, because that's the only thing that they can do right now. So they're all going to take the dodge action where they are. Hikan.
Okay. That is 50 feet. So, okay. So, yeah, because that's right next to that, so that will be within range. Khan's going to run up here, pulling out 2 of his hand axes,
Mm-hmm.
and he's going to chuck them. 22 for 9,
Uh-huh.
and then 18 for 11.
Okay.
And it isn't close enough for unarmed strikes or anything like that.
Yeah, it is
Go
20
ahead
feet
and
off the
spend-
floor.
Yeah, I'm going to spend a key point and do patient defense for
Okay.
my bonus action, and that'll be turn.
All right. Zen.
Can I hold my action to cast Tidal Wave if they fly such that they're within 30 feet of each other?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Max.
Bonus action, I'm gonna strike that one I hit before with the Sun Sphere
Okay.
for 23 lightning damage.
You vaporize it immediately through the power of pure lightning.
And yeah, I'm just gonna fireball the other one.
Okay.
Just
All right.
snap the fingers on his gauntlet, and a spark comes between them. Just throw at them and do a fire.
Yeah. Okay. You hit the Kargarok with a nasty firebolt. It reels from the hit and is promptly engulfed in flame, and it falls from the sky and lands in a burning heap on the floor.
Okay.
Okay. On what would be their turn, it sounds like more on the way. And what I will do is I will add some more. There we go. Yeah. There we go. Wave 2 engaged. As they come and join in on the fray, you can see that they've been kind of frenzied up and coming to investigate the noise and possible food source of all the commotion that is being caused in this direction. They are not smart animals. The guards will take up a defensive position. They will both ready in action to jab a spear at the next Kargarok that gets in range. Renji, it's your go again.
Huzzah! Let's see how high up they are. They are still pretty high up, or are these ones closer to the ground?
They're 30 feet from the floor.
30 feet from the floor. Okay. In that case, I'm going to probably try and Eldritch Blast some of these.
Okay.
And then, seeing that there's more coming from the south, I will rush 110, 110, 210, 310, and I will shoot at this one in particular. Okay. That is a 23 to hit for 5.
Okay.
And a 29 to hit for 10.
Okay.
Wait, what?
It must have been...
That's not roll.
Hmm.
Force critical damage. Okay, so it's 19 points of damage.
19. Okay.
So 24 in total.
Okay. Both vicious hits. And you can see that the Kargarok kind of hesitates in the air briefly as it tries to regain its balance after being hit with the bolts, but otherwise maintains its altitude and proceeds to try and get closer to you again. Yeah. Anything else you want to do on your turn, or can do on your turn?
Not right now. have Misty Step as a bonus action. So no, I'm not going to do anything. And currently, there's nothing that I really want to put a curse on. So yeah, that's that.
Okay. Awesome. While you're standing there, I can see in that direction. Give me a free perception check.
Okay. Wow, that's a 12.
One thing you do notice while you're standing there, you kind of like, you send the blast towards this one Kargarok, and you look over to the other one as you see it, and you can see behind and just above it is the shadow or the silhouette of another Kargarok, but that can't be right. The silhouette looks like to be the same size, but it certainly must be further away. So it can't be. Nothing can be that big, right? And as if to answer that internal burning question, it appears that a much larger beast on its turn arrives.
Oh no!
With a hellishly loud screech. You see what appears to be another much bigger Kargarok make its appearance upon the battlefield and scanning through the potential prey. But that's
Craig is gone again.
Craig is gone? Ah, for God's sake. They did say it was having some trouble, but that's why we have a backup recording solution.
But that super big card activated my trap cards.
It did?
Yes.
Within 30 feet of another thing.
Ah, yeah, that's true.
Tidal wave for both of them.
Okay, give me 2 seconds to sort out Craig, and
Okay.
I will do that. There.
Now recording.
There we go, for the 3rd time today. Alright. Okay, so...
I call down the rains.
So, we will... wave water crashes down. The area can be up to 30 feet long, 30 feet wide, and 10 feet wide. Okay. So it doesn't have to be connected to the floor.
Nope.
Despite the name of the spell. That's fair. Okay. So, we will have the Kargarok make its save. 13. It fails. It takes 20 bludgeoning damage from the thing. And is knocked prone. Okay, so 30 feet in the air.
D6 per 10 feet.
Yeah, so it's 3d6. 7. It takes 7 bludgeoning damage from the fall. And I need to remove its height thing. Kargarok Rex, on the other hand, is going to attempt its save and probably do, hopefully, significantly better.
Probably.
No, actually.
Oh, no. Okay.
Takes 20 damage. And then falls 40 feet. Taking 8 bludgeoning damage upon its fall. So,
Kablooey.
you watch as Zayden waves his hands, calling forth elemental might as a stream of water just emerges from seemingly nowhere, slams into the sides of these birds, and almost kind of like pushes them downward to the floor, where there is a mighty crashing sound as both creatures land on the floor. Sadly, I think the Kargarok Rex has landed on top of this javelin of lightning, since that's where it was. Yeah. So I guess, yeah, that'll be its turn. It's currently prone. And we will move on to Civi's turns. They're going to maintain where they are and continue the dodge action. Hikan.
How tall is that tree next to me?
That tree is about 20 feet tall, best estimate.
Okay, so 20 feet, that would be up. That would be at upward angles of about 10 feet, and that would be an extra 10 feet away. Okay, I can just make it. Hikan's going to run up the tree and then like try to jump backflip off of that to land on the Kargarok.
Okay. Give
I have
me.
50 feet of movement, so and I can run up walls.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
you still need an acrobatics check for getting from the tree to the Kargarok. I understand.
Yeah, give me an acrobatics check, but it'll be a fairly easy one, I think, considering what you're capable of.
Okay.
Yeah.
26.
You can
Cool.
get to the Kargarok.
On the Kargarok, I'm just going to. I have a quick idea of maybe I could use this to fly to the other one. And it's like, no, this thing's not gonna listen to me, and I just start wailing on it.
Okay.
So, 24 for 7.
Yep.
28 for 9.
Uh-huh.
Flurry of blows. 13 for 6.
Yep.
Is it still up?
It's still up.
Okay. 21 for 8. Is it still up?
It is, barely.
Cool. Hand of harm. So on that last one, Hikan pulls his hand back, and this weird, kind of noxious-looking aura just kind of encases it, and he just grabs on and forces the Kargarok's head down.
Nice. Very nice. You managed to, with that last thrust, you can feel the bones in the neck snap, and after kind of something of a dizzying spiral, you guide the stiffening corpse of the Kargarok to the floor.
And I still fall down.
Yeah.
I'd like to look at the Kargarok that's up to the north, since everyone's kind of focused on the big guy to the south, and I just want to point my fingers at my eyes and point it at it.
Nice. Okay. All right, Zayden.
Let's see, what can I do? I shall... Yes. I shall charge valiantly over to it, ready to engage it in some hand-to-hand fistery. Then I realise, wait, my fists aren't that strong. So instead, I shall be a giant scorpion.
Okay.
And I shall use free attack.
Okay.
With a claw, and a stick. Aww.
Okay. Did you want to... It's still technically prone, so did you want to do the attack rolls on those? Yeah.
I guess I'll just re-roll the numbers of the damage that we just did.
Yeah.
So, plus... 15, 17, and 16.
Okay, so the 15 misses. The 16 and 17 hit.
So, let's see. The target is grappled.
Okay.
Escape DC 12.
Uh-huh.
And must make a DC 12 Constitution saving throw.
Okay. I think it's okay on the saving throw.
It takes a total of 20 damage.
Okay.
10 poison, 7
Okay.
bludgeoning, 3 piercing.
Thank you very much. For doing the math for me.
I was rounding down, I assume.
That's right. Okay. So, you kind of you transform into your larger giant scorpion form and begin wailing into the larger bird. Max.
Okay. How far away is everything? This one's 60. These things are everything's in 60. Okay. Gonna focus my attention down south because there's more of them there.
Okay.
With those two on the floor up there, I'm gonna focus on the one that's still flying.
Uh-huh.
So first of all, bonus action. Zap for 21.
You zap it, and much like the one you did to this two before, it just explodes.
Okay.
Mhm.
I'm going to move closer. And for my main action, I'm going to cast. That's going to reach forward to the hand, and the sparks kind of freeze around his gauntlet. And then I want it to make an intelligence saving throw, the big one.
The big one. Oh, okay.
I don't know how smart these birds are, but I'm
Not
hoping
very.
they aren't passing DC 18 intelligence
Oh,
saving throw as well.
Wow.
Okay, so it takes 35 psychic damage.
Okay.
And it has muddled thoughts for 1 minute. During that time, it rolls a d6 and subtracts that number roll from all its attack and ability checks. As well as constitution saving throws to maintain concentration, but I don't think it has any spells.
Okay.
Hit both of them?
Oh, I can hit both of them. Yeah, I can hit the other one as well.
Alright, well, I don't think it can't pass its save. And even if it could pass its save, it can't withstand the damage, so it just kind of...
So that thing's brain just explodes out of its ears.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, dear. Okay. Nice. Very cool. Alright. So, it is only at this point that I forgot to roll initiative for Mara, but that's fine.
She's looking after the horses.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Okay. So, anything else you can or want to do on your turn?
Nope, did all my things.
Okay. It's the lone Cargroc's go. As said, they're not terribly bright, so they're going to make a move. This one's going to swoop low in order to get to this guard. He's going to be about 5 feet from the floor now, and then he's going to try and attack this guard. But before it can, the guard will try and spirit one. And that one, the Cargrock in turn will utilize its beak and talons in order to swipe forth this at this guard.
Can I argue that the turbulent winds caused by my thing would give it disadvantage if it's still flying?
Okay, that's fine. Let's see. Yeah, and neither of those then hit. For a guard has an AC of 16. Yeah. So with it being unable to maintain balance in the air, the Cargrock is unable to land a successful hit on the guard. And then on that one guard's go, it's going to try and retaliate with their spear, which is enough to hit it, but not exactly enough to do any significant damage. So he's still kind of in peril. Renji.
That's my cue.
Yeah.
Darn it. It's... Let's see... I can't get to a place, I think, where I... yeah, I can go get over there. So I rush over there. Let's see... I do have sneak attack on this one. Because another enemy of the target
Yeah.
is within 5 feet of it. And then I will... hold on. I just need to figure out something from my rogue abilities. Yes, that's from it. Okay. It's just a normal roll. That's a 29 to hit.
Uh-huh.
It is one-handed.
Okay.
So that's 12 points of radiant damage and 11 points of sneak attack damage.
Okay. You slice forth with your blade aspiration, and it cuts this grievous sizzling wound in the side of this Kargorok, which kind of reels in the air and continues trying to maintain its balance, but it is still standing.
Again! 17 for 9 points of damage.
Okay, that is just enough to slay the beast, which in turn, as it falls prey to your bonded sword, you have bonded it as your packed weapon, right?
I have not.
You have not. Okay, in which case it collapses to the ground, pushed around a bit by the turbulent winds, but is sizzling on the floor, unable to withstand the onslaught of radiant sword.
Barbecue for lunch, and I turn to face the big one, but I can't move beyond that. Although, I'm not going to use Misty Step for that.
Yeah. Okay. Being an animal that this thing is, or having the mindset of an animal, the Kargorok Rex will utilize its action to attempt to break free. So it would be a athletics check of DC 12.
It breaks free.
It breaks free. Okay, so it would have had a 14, so it still breaks free. It's going to utilize half of its movement to stand up. And under fraying mental assault, it is going to attempt to leave. So it will use its... it won't disengage, so you do get an opportunity attack.
Yes.
Yes, okay. So that is 11, and then it needs to make a Constitution saving throw, which it does. Still 12. 12 points of damage, and Kargorok Rex utilizes the rest of its movement to get at the very least 60 feet away from the field of battle into the air, and is definitely trying to leave.
60?
Yeah.
Oh, that has a lot of speed.
120 feet of movement?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
Just kind of like, after it kind of stands up, it just kind of like one wing beat lifts it off the ground, and the turbulent winds kind of try to like do their best to push you and Max back slightly, but it then maintains heading. You manage to get one strike off on it before it manages to depart from the ground. It is the only thing left going, so down the initiative order, Zayden, do you intend to pursue?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
I don't really want it to just come and attack again. It was very rude of it. Gonna turn back into a human.
Okay.
And since it worked so well the first time, I'll give it another shot at a tidal wave.
Okay. Okay. Takes 22 bludgeoning damage. It is 60 feet away, because it kind of like went up at a 45-degree angle.
So 30 feet of fall, I guess.
Yeah, so 30 feet of fall, which would be 13, and it is on the ground again. Okay.
And then Zayden will nod to Max as he's up next.
Okay. Max.
Well, since this fight is still going, he is within range. Okay.
He is 30 feet further away because I didn't.
Okay.
Like, yeah.
Then it's not within range. I'm just gonna fling out a firebolt because that's all I really got.
Okay.
Otherwise, I don't feel like chasing.
Yeah. The unfortunately 13 is not enough to hit its natural armor class.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. The guards maintain their position around the cart. Wait, hold on. What happened to Hikan?
You went straight to Zayden.
I'm sorry. What would you like to do on your turn, Hikan? I feel really bad now.
It's fine. It was going to be out of range, even if I used like a dash thing. But I will dash to get next to Zayden.
Okay.
So I will be there.
Okay.
Because it would have been too far away for me to do anything else.
Okay. All right. Renji.
Yes, I will rush. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Rush over here, and I will throw some Eldritch Blasts at it.
Okay.
Might be useful. That's a 15
15 hits.
for 10 damage,
Mm-hmm.
and 17 for 2.
Okay. All right. The blasts of Eldritch energy slam into the side of it just as it's trying once again to get up onto its feet. And with one more beat of its wings, takes off into the sky, moving once again in the same direction, just away from the things that are hurting it so badly. Okay, so, Hikan, do you intend to pursue?
So that it's about 70 feet away at this point.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Javelin of Lightning is basically where the dead one is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I'm just looking at the range of things. Okay, so if it's 70 feet away, if I move my full movement, I grab the Javelin of Lightning.
Okay.
Right, and then I'm just gonna chuck it at the Kargarok Rex, and then I'm gonna pull out one of the hand axes, and the hand axe should just be within range.
Okay.
That is 14.
That sadly misses.
Okay. And then one of the hand axes is 17 for 7.
Okay. You hit it with the hand axe, it buries itself into the side of the creature, but it keeps going. Okay. Zayden.
I'm gonna go with something different, and I will cast Confusion at it.
Okay. 90 feet away, concentration 1 minute. Each creature 10-foot radius choose to make a wisdom saving throw when you cast a spell affected by it.
DC
Okay.
17.
Gets a 20.
He's fine.
Okay. Max.
Matt's gonna stay with the cart
Okay.
and hold up a hand to try and calm the storm he made, but something seems to be making it not work right now.
Okay. Kargoroks are all dead. Guards are going to maintain position. Renji, do you intend to pursue?
How far away is it from me right now?
Quite a distance. It was 70 feet away, so that's going to be another 50 feet on top of that.
No, it'd still be within 70 right now.
Yeah, but Renji's further back than you are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So total of how much?
So
From me.
about 100 feet, 105 feet.
Currently 105 feet.
Yeah.
I'm just going to... I'm just going to shoot twice again. Eldritch Blast.
All right.
13 and 22.
13 misses, 22 hits, so that is
6
damage.
force points of damage. Force points?
Okay.
6 force? No.
Still works.
No, that was brain fart.
That's okay. All right. If that's your main action, you don't intend to use any bonus actions.
Not right now.
On the Karot's turn, this time no longer beproned by your efforts, moves its full 120 feet of flight movement and is probably well out of the range of any of you at this point.
Technically not.
I can still switch to my crossbow.
You
Yeah,
really want this thing to go down.
I mean,
With
this
that-
is a powerful thing. Like, if I shoot it with my crossbow, and it goes down, it goes away.
Well, while they decide what to do, Hikan's gonna just go gather his things.
Okay.
That's what he's doing in the initiative order at this point.
Alright.
I'll leave it to Renji if he wants to go any further.
I'll leave it up to the GM if I can.
You could probably get one more
Reform.
shot off on it before it manages to get out of sight.
Then I am going to try again.
Okay. Remember, you're probably at disadvantage. Well, how
I'm
far
at
is it?
disadvantage.
Yeah.
That is 100 or 400 at a disadvantage. So that is a 17 plus 10,
Okay, that hits.
and a total of 1d10 plus 6. 8 points of damage.
Okay. You're sure that the bolt hits, but it's hard to tell as it continues to fly away. It seems to be significantly more robust than originally intended. And by that point, the creature has more than likely managed to move far enough that it's certainly not coming back anytime soon as it flees to the southwest.
Yeah, fair enough.
And yeah, the area falls, I should say silent, but it's still kind of crackling and rumbling from the storm sphere.
Yeah, it takes a few seconds more than it probably should, but eventually it just sort of dissipates. The
Mara,
text just falls down to the floor.
Mara, who's been keeping hold of the horses as best she can, looks over and says, "You okay?"
I am. Max, are you?
Business as usual.
Maybe you can sit in the cart for a while.
Glances his generally intimidating presence over at everyone else in the cart to see if they would be welcoming him in there.
Let's see. They're more stunned by the presence of the creatures themselves. Like, because not many of them have left the walls of Hyrule Castletown, not many of them are aware of the existence of creatures of this size or birds of this size. So they kind of they're shocked and scared by
But
everything
also,
that's
we did
transpired.
just drop a storm and tidal waves on them.
Yeah.
Look how badass these giant birds are. Oh, they hit the ground. Oh, they hit the ground.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay.
I'm going to make a history check to see if I know things about Kargarogs just from hearing it. That might. Okay, no, I don't. I was going to be like, I'm going to go get their tail feathers and be all like, these make really good wedding gifts, as I give to as I would give them as kind of like mementos to the people. But no, Hikan doesn't remember that.
I was just going to take some of the feathers from the giant one anyway.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's plenty on the ground now.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's certainly a few now after everything that has transpired. Yeah, you gather up your belongings and stuff. And the workers do let you onto the cart eventually after they've calmed down from the experience. It's not like they're scared of you. It's just that the whole incident has been shocking. For lack of a better term. But yeah, once everything is kind of settled and everyone is back up together, you waste no time in making your way the rest of the way to Artemark. It is certainly a familiar sight as you arrive. You can see that much of the place has not been touched since the last time you were here. The only thing that you note now is that it's significantly quieter, what with the fact that with the dungeon having been cleared out, the people who were hanging around here and like the designated guards and stuff didn't need to be here anymore. So they just kind of left it until it was acquired by Fontsworth's estate in order to be renovated and ready for resale. Yeah. It is, it has started to get somewhat late, since despite the fact that perhaps some of you were on horses or utilizing the cart, since there were people on foot, you had to go as if you were on foot, like on the slowest person sort of thing. So it has gotten somewhat late by the time you get there. Do you wish to have a long rest?
Yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, I'm not bothered. But sure.
I'd like my 5th level spell back, please.
Yes, I understand. I understand that very well. If I had any 5th level spells,
Yeah.
no, I'll be able to.
You're not bitter at all.
I'm a little bit.
You cannot match me for bitterness. Don't even try.
Yeah. Anyway, I'm.
Heard my rants about what kind of spells I want.
Let me just take one of the watches.
Okay.
I'm fine with a short rest, but I would like my spellcasting friends to get their spell slots back.
We can all take shifts for watching.
And I'm fine doing So I'm just gonna click that button.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. You situate yourselves somewhere appropriate. As you kind of arrive, the workers kind of like take a look around, make a brief assessment with what little light they have, and one of them, the guy who has more or less been designated as the guy in charge, kind of looks at you and says, "Right, well, it is late, so feel free to make a camp wherever you want. We'll probably be doing the same and getting to work in the morning. Thank you for the escort. Clearly, we certainly well needed it."
Yeah. Might be a bit for us to come back and escort you back if you need it, though. So take your time.
We're going to be here for quite a while, I imagine. So yeah, thank you. We'll just situate ourselves over here. And they make their way over to one of the other, like the smaller kind of decrepit buildings, and just kind of make a kind of a ramshackle camp. The two guards kind of patrol the area a bit to ensure that it is completely safe before finding a spot to maintain their own watches. And yeah, so what order of watches are you going in?
I don't mind going in like first or second. Witching hour.
Because we sweep 4 hours each, it should be 2 watches.
Yeah.
Mm.
So I'll go second.
Okay. Hold on. Hikan will join on the first watch.
I guess I'll
Or-
join next then.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. If that's the case, then Mara will, because she also has a ring of expedient rest, she will join the first watch for this time around, and just kind of, she'll sit herself down by near a fire and just kind of read her book. as you guys settle in. So for first watch, boys, I would like perception checks, please.
Okay. Soft 20.
And... Natural 1.
Natural 1.
411.
411.
411. Okay. All right.
And
I'm probably playing with my sunblade a bit and giving myself night blindness.
Yeah.
could also still be grumpy.
Yeah, I'm also still a little bit grumpy.
Still a little grump.
I am happy that the sunblade seems to work very well for fried chicken, but yeah, just.
While on watch, Hikan would like to be making food for the evening, and would at the beginning of the watch, if he'll take the first stuff that he makes over to the workers and to the guards to make sure everyone has enough to eat.
Okay.
How edible are Kargarok?
Quite edible, I would say. Like, they're counted as monstrosities because they are, like, they're so bizarre in their own right. I'm not sure exactly what counts the difference between monstrosity and beast, specifically speaking. It might just be their physiology makes them something that wouldn't ordinarily survive in the normal ecosystem. Yeah. So the food that you make, Hikan, is very good. It's very delicious. You kind of like sit down and kind of fall into a sense of zen as you cook this food. Any specific recipe that you're going for?
I think it's probably just kind of like a very basic beef dish. It's kind of made out with probably some stuff that's made through some root vegetables or something like that. It's very simple, simple spices, some salt, some pepper, type of thing. But it's more that it's filling and it's kind of relaxing opposed to anything else.
Yeah, more of a soul food sort of situation. Yeah.
Especially because for some of these people, it's, as you said, their first time at a Hyrule Castle town, and they had a very stressful day.
Yeah, they certainly did. So you make this food as you go. Mara is kind of just, as I said, sitting off to one side reading her book.
I give her a plate, and then I dish up a plate for Renji and myself, and I take it over, and I sit next to Renji as I'm taking a look around.
Thanks.
You want to talk about it? I presume with a passive insight of 18, I know that Renji's grumpy.
Yeah. Oh yeah. He's not hiding it. It's just, yesterday I kind of confronted my dad, and then this morning he arrives, he drops off the sending stones, and that's it. I expected something.
Like what?
An explanation, apology, an acknowledgement in any way? But nope, nothing.
What do you need to apologize for? Explanation, I get. I mean, like, we are kind of just being sent places. More of an explanation would have been nice.
I'm sorry, that's not really what I mean.
Oh.
I don't mind, like, getting this task. That's not the issue. It's the fact that by just because he is someone who can give us tasks and jobs to do, that doesn't mean he's not my dad. And he is acting like he's just our employer.
Khan kind of pauses for a moment, mostly because he also has a very awkward relationship with his parents. And he wants to help his friend, but he doesn't exactly know how.
Mm.
And he just kind of thinks for a minute. He goes, well, okay. Have to be patient with me because I'm not the best with words, but I'm gonna do my best, okay? You remember that? You remember when you were when we were on the ship with Mr. Fairwind and he fell overboard and you kept trying to shoot him with your things?
Yeah, I remember that.
But like you were really focused on that, and it really made you like stressed out, right? And it took a lot, even for somebody who was calm and trying to work with you to get you to take a minute, right? Well, that was with Mr. Fairwind, who was a stranger. And I don't know how a lot of the stuff works. And I know he's your dad, and I know that, you know, like parents have certain responsibilities and things, but I don't know how long he's been working with the princess. You have a better idea than that. And it could be that maybe he wants to be supportive or encouraging or the rest of it, but he doesn't know how right now because he's really, really stressed out. And while sometimes that hurts because it feels like they're putting other things above you and you're their kid, it's sometimes, I don't want to say good or helpful, but he's a person too. And he might need a bit of time to get refocused, you know? I don't know. I'm just trying to give perspective because really, I think that he probably should have sat there and said, you know, like, good job, Renji. Because, like, really, I think that that would have been really helpful and probably would have stopped a lot of this. But sometimes perspective is good to have when it comes to why somebody didn't do something.
Renji is very close to tearing up. That's not fair. That's not fair, Hikan.
No, it's not. Unfortunately, even when it's people that think that we think should have our best interests or put us first, sometimes they don't. Or we don't think they do. And Khan kind of sobers up at the last end of that sentence as he just kind of goes in his own memories for about half a second and then shakes his head and gets back into the moment.
wipes his eyes for a moment, stares out into the night.
Would you like a hug?
Very softly, kind of holding it in, Renji does begin to cry as you say that, as Hikan says that.
Oh.
Hikan gives Renji a hug. With a 19
thank you.
athletics check for the
I failed my
Feel
save.
this hug.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Very, very softly, Hikan can hear Renji say, "Thank you."
You're welcome. Unfortunately, emotional damage is not one of the conditions I can cure with physician's touch. I mean, what? Sorry.
I can't use Armor of Agathis to protect against it either.
And, the rest of your watch passes without incident. It's just a very quiet, pleasant night. Eventually Mara, who kind of like was observing this, didn't really want to interject, says, I think our I think the shift's over. So
Right. Okay. I'm gonna try and get some rest then. I find a place to sit, close my eyes, and I mutter to myself, "Harvester, don't you dare talk to me tonight."
Mara heads over to Zayden and Max and gives them a nudge.
I was gonna head to him, but if she's got it, then.
Biden will immediately open his eyes.
Hey, it's your watch.
I'm never quite sure how conscious you're supposed to be when you're trancing.
It's.
Yes and no.
Yes and no. I find that you're conscious enough to know your surroundings, but not like you don't have like you're distracted. Because I guess with the trancing, you're meant to be replaying series of dreams as if it's like a training simulator or something like
It's
that.
like you're watching TV.
Yeah.
So it'd be sort of you can sense it as Mara comes over nearby, but
Yeah.
Whereas Max is asleep.
Mara.
Hikan,
actual sleep thing.
Since Mara woke up Zayden, Hikan will go wake up Max.
Yeah.
At this point, kind of learning that it's just kind of like, I'm going to go gently shake Max on the shoulder.
Yeah. Whichever hand you use to wake him up gets swiped at.
It's your turn, Max.
Fine. Just kind of heaves himself up.
There's some food for you guys over there if you'd like, next to the fire so it stayed warm. And Hikan begins to trance.
Sidon will go eat the delicious food.
It is very good food. Yeah. So as you settle yourselves in for your watch, I'd like you to make me perception checks as well.
18.
23.
Okay. You kind of sit and observe things around you. You feel a cold breeze blow through. You hear a distant rumble of thunder, quite distant though. But as you kind of glance upwards outside of whatever shelter you have, you note that that you can't see any stars in the sky, and you kind of reason to yourselves that perhaps it's clouding over. Maybe it'll rain tomorrow.
Maybe it'll rain.
Maybe.
Will it rain?
Yes. There is no room for potentials in this. Must be known. No.
All down.
Yeah, all will be known. But yeah. But for the most part, your watch seems to be uneventful, other than the change in weather. Anything you guys do during your period of watch?
Sit in quiet contemplation about life and the universe.
Max is gonna try focus inward again, and just try and feel what's up with this magic, because it's been awfully erratic since the encounter under Hyrule
Yeah.
with the hags.
Give me a charisma check, since that's your spellcasting thing.
7. I'm never gonna pass one of these.
You kind of try and focus, but it's difficult to get a hold of it. Frustratingly difficult, and you kind of feel your temperature and temper rise slightly as you
Getting angry makes it act up more, and
yeah, it's a bit of a spiral. With your passive insight, Zayden, you can notice probably the growing agitation in Max as this goes on.
Sidle.
Yeah.
Will sidle over to interrupt by offering Max some breakfast and say, "You should eat first."
As you get closer, you hear the air is crackling.
Oh dear.
He opens his eyes when you say that and just says, "I'll be back in a moment." He's just gonna get up, like go a distance away, and just like blast his frustration into a tree using shocking grasp.
Yeah, there is a. It
Goes
feels
far enough away that the others
Yeah.
won't be woken up by it.
Yeah. You unleash your energy upon the tree. Those kind of like those sparking, branching patterns roll up the woodwork.
Damage to the tree, holy shit.
You do.
Oh, that tree.
I'm gonna cry on the tree.
Thankfully,
Please don't move.
thankfully thankfully it does not catch fire. But yeah, you've certainly blasted away a lot of the bark, and the kind of branching burn pattern seems to very quickly have moved through the wood of this tree. Yeah.
After that, he just kind of leans on it and just breathes for a few minutes before heading back.
You after calming yourself down a bit, you return. Zayden, you notice a faint smell of ozone accompanying Max as he returns.
Just a quick glance over to make sure the tree isn't setting on fire and spreading a forest fire.
Hasn't seemed to have caught light.
Zayden will nod happily.
And unless there's any other interactions you want to have, the rest of your watch goes uneventfully, save for the start of the rain, which seems to be a fairly heavy downpour. But thankfully you have appropriate shelter to be away from it. And as it begins to lighten up, we will call the session there and continue on next time, since we are at our usual cutoff time. thank you everybody so much for listening in to episode 68 of Hyrule Chronicles. I've been Articulate T, the Game Master, and with me as always I have had Renji Vox being played by the lad.
Sleep well, everybody.
I have had Hikan Sio being played by Alvarance.
Maybe greater restoration can solve emotional damage.
Let me check.
That's up to the DM.
No,
It would have to be in the spell
Damn.
description, and I don't think emotional damage is written there.
It
Yeah.
says
Remove curse?
conditions.
Oh dear. I have had Zaiden Shari being played by Robo Pirate.
Just checking now. I don't think it can.
And I have had Max being played by Keestrith.
Someday Max will be happy, but it is not this day.
And we'll see you guys next time. Take care now. Bye-bye.
Bye.